Okay, so I wanted to show you the hand sewn stitch again and what that looks like if we're repairing something. So these are my pajama pants. This is a leg that I made from our first project, and I've already sort of put a hole in this seam here. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is kind of fold it along that seam. Okay, and I'm gonna pin that shut. So I really only need maybe one pin here, but I've pinned it shut, lining up those seams, right? Okay, now I'm gonna take my needle, my thread, all right, I am pinching this thread in between my finger and my thumb, pushing the needle through, and I've got it threaded. I am going to double up this thread, which means I have pulled it through the needle so that the tails are the same length. Okay, right, I have two pieces here. All right, I'm going to tie a knot in this. Loosely wrap it around my finger, twist. Okay, got one knot, I'm going to need another one. Okay. I'm going to trim this tail just a little bit. And I'm going to start by coming into my seam, right, with my needle, coming out just past where the hole starts. Okay, so my hole is right there, my needle's coming out just past it. And that's how I'm going to get started. I'm going to try to tuck that knot in to that seam. Okay, and now I'm going to do that that stitch we learned last week. Okay, so my thread is coming out of the right, or should I say the top sort of tube. I'm going to come over, poke the needle through about 1/8 of an inch away. I'm going to push it out. There we go. Okay. And now I'm coming out of this sort of bottom seam tube. I'm going to go up to the other one, push. I'm going to trim this little thread I've got here first. Okay. Now I only want my stitches to be about 1/8 of an inch. I want them very tiny. The bigger I make them, we might get little tiny holes in between my stitches. Okay, and I'm going to keep doing that, right, back and forth. This is that hand sewn seam stitch we did last week. Someone called it a ladder stitch. I don't really know if it has a, I'm sure it has a name. Okay, and I'm going to go just back and forth, small tiny stitches. So every time I go across to that other seam, I'm going directly across from where I came out on that last stitch. Okay. All right, now I'm going tiny stitches across, probably take my pin out by now. It's kind of getting in my way. And run back and forth until the whole seam is sewn shut. Okay, let's see where it ends. So I've got another 3/4 of an inch to go. Okay. Not pulling too hard because I don't want it to pucker my seam. And I think I'm about, oh, I got maybe 1 or 2 more stitches to go. So that's a thread from the stitch that ripped. I'm going to trim that. Okay, I'm at the end. Now what I want to do is grab a little bit of fabric inside, try to get inside that seam now. Alright, I've made this loop. Okay, I'm going to push my needle in through it twice. And that's going to give me this knot. Now what I'm going to do is take this needle as close to the knot as I can get, push it into that seam. Sorry, just making sure you can see. And all this is doing is trying to tuck that knot into that seam. Okay. And some extra thread there. There we go. And that is the repaired hole, the repaired seam using the hand sewn stitch.